Spinnerbaits, spinnerbaits, spinnerbait, spinnerbait, the spinnerbait, spinnerbait, spinnerbait. Oh, whoops. Spinnerbait, spinnerbait, spinnerbait. What's going on, guys? James here. Today we're talking about spinnerbaits. I'm going to show you a couple of brands I like, and I'm going to show you some of the colors and some of the features that I look for in a spinnerbait. So it's pretty simple. Hopefully it helps you out. Here we go. So first off, what is a spinnerbait? There may be some beginners here, or maybe you've heard the name spinnerbait, or you're kind of confused what it is. The type of spinnerbaits really that I'm talking about today are these style spinnerbaits. You've seen them before. So basically what these are, it's a skirted jig right here. There's a hook underneath. And there's a weight, it's like a jig head, so it's got weight. There's different weights you can get. On the other side here, you have blades. There's different types of blades. There's Colorado, there's Willow, which that's what this is. There's Indiana, there's Oklahoma. I usually just use the Willow and the Colorado blades. So what it's doing is these blades are kind of mimicking fish. It could be schools of fish. Sometimes there's just one blade, sometimes there's two. Sometimes you have, this one here's got 4. So it mimics a school of fish. And then you have your jig here. And just one of the easiest baits to fish. What you're doing is you're just casting it out there and, you know, letting it sink to whatever depth you want. And you're just steadily retrieving it in, and that's it. You may give it the odd twitch just to change its cadence a little bit, to make the sound kind of stop for a minute. You got a fish following it, that little twitch might entice it to strike. But generally, you're just reeling it in, and that's it. Now, spinnerbaits I use for bass and pike. I don't use them a lot, but I use them, you know, a decent amount. And I've caught tons of pike, tons of bass off spinnerbaits. It's a great lure. Before we get into some brands, really there's just 2 brands that I use. I get into some other, I have 4 or 5, but there's 2 that I really like. Just want to get into the colors. For spinnerbaits, I keep it really, really simple. I don't have a pure white here, but just a pure white skirt is really good. You definitely want to have pure white. And then chartreuse, which is that. Those 2 colors, for me, work the best. You know, you can get ones with white and chartreuse like this. You can get different variations of colors. The other color that I really like, especially for pike and muskie, is your white and your red. Works really, really well. Now, if I'm not using white, chartreuse, or red, I'm just going to be using a darker color. Doesn't matter what darker color really for me. You know, this one's kind of a greenish gray. This one's kind of darker. It's got some orange, a little bit of orange in it. But that's really it. I keep it super simple. I don't go crazy for colors for spinnerbaits. So here's a few things that I look for in a spinnerbait. One thing that I've had in the past is skirts falling off. And some of the companies use just like a rubber band around the skirt. I mean, it's okay, it works, but eventually that skirt's gonna pull off. So what I like is when they use a little tiny small metal band. You know, like this one here, for example. You can't see it, but it has a metal band around it. So that skirt's not going anywhere. The other thing that's acceptable to me is when they use like a zip tie. So I don't know if you can see this, but it's got a zip tie and they just cut it off. That works pretty good too. It's a hard plastic. But if you can find the spinnerbaits with the metal band that's holding the skirt on, it's going to last a lot longer, trust me. The other thing that I like, it's not a huge deal, especially if you're tying your baits on directly to the line. It's not a big deal, but I like the closed loop spinnerbaits, regardless if I'm tying it on directly or if I'm, using a snap. I like the closed loop. The open loop ones, they're okay. Again, especially if you're tying it on, but I just like closed loop. Just my personal preference. That's all. Other than that, those are really the two things that I look for. Now, into the brands. There's a brand that I really like, and I found out about them, I don't know, I think about 3 years ago, and they're called Blackfly Lures, and they are a Canadian company, and they make a lot of lures for muskie and pike, but bass as well. And I've used them so much the last 3 years. They're rock solid baits, and they catch fish. So a couple examples. This one here is a Blackfly lure, and this one's kind of neat. The skirt, the red, is a little bit longer, so sometimes I'll use a trailer hook on it, just because sometimes the fish will go for that, and then it won't actually get into the hook. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. It depends on if I'm missing a lot of strikes. Again, the Blackfly lures, they use the metal band around the skirt up here to attach it to the head there. It works really well. And the blades, they're just top of the line. They're really, really good. The other thing I like about Blackfly lures is they have some really unique blades. So for example, this one right here. So those blades, I don't think there's a name for them. They're shaped, I don't know, like a half moon or something. And it's just gonna have a little bit different action in the water. I haven't seen anything like that. This one here is by Blackfly Lures. It has 4 blades on it. So it's like a school of fish. Some of them are, they go small to big. Really, really, really cool. One of the pros from Blackfly Lures, I got talking to him, and he was in a tournament. He told me that it was just a really bad day. Nobody on the lake could catch anything. He was the only one catching fish that day, and it was because of this lure. So that actually sold me on it, and I bought one, and it works really, really well. The other brand that I really like is Lucky Strike. It's a Canadian brand. The ones that I've seen, I don't know, they've made them for years. The ones that I've seen, I think this one here is a Lucky Strike. They use the metal bands, or it's something very, very solid on there. It's not rubber. Maybe some of them in the past have used rubber, but I've had a lot of really good luck with Lucky Strike. Some of the other brands I haven't used this yet. This one's a Dobbins. It seems really, really good. It has a metal wire on it as well. And I'll be honest, I might have some other brands here. I think I have some Booyah brand. I think that's this one here. But yeah, I have all kinds of different brands. They don't really put their names on spinner baits. I hope this helps. Really have, minimum, I would say, have about 4 different spinnerbait colors. Have some different weights, whether you have 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, 1/4 ounce. Just have some different weights, just in case there is a bit of a current or you need to get it down lower. And, have some just different styles. Switch it up. If they're not hitting it, maybe you need to do something a little extreme like that. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this helped. Do me a favor. If you found value in this video, hammer that like button and subscribe to my channel. I really, really appreciate it. All right, guys, take care.